Hey guys, Vico here. Welcome back to the channel. What you're looking at is not intended to confuse you. The subject of today's video is, in fact, at Tier 1. For those of you that don't know, yes, you're looking at the FV215B 183, what we call the Death Star. At Tier 10, it can one-shot or bring to a sliver of health most tanks at Tier 10 and Tier 9. With current matchmaking, it's not going to see Tier 8s and one-shot them. A lot of people fear the Death Star, but I was reading on the forums that at Tier 1, the Vickers Medium 1 is to Tier 1 equivalent, and I couldn't believe it until I decided to put it to the test today. What I have equipped to make this, if you want to consider it the Death Star, is the Tier 2 6-pounder gun. The dispersion is 0.52. It is awful, and you're going to see in the gameplay that I have that you really need to let your shots fully aim. So if you're a less experienced player or new to World of Tanks and you're still at Tier 1, or any tank for that matter, you really need to let the aiming circle fully aim. Speaking of armor, this tank has none to speak of. High explosive, especially on the sides perpendicular to your shot and back, will take apart this tank, and the lower part of the tank in the front, high explosive will do full high explosive damage. However, this is a one-trick pony for you against other tanks using this tank. 112 max damage if you roll high. The penetration is pretty decent. Renal Atsus you have a problem getting their lowered, so just aim for the big round dome on the top. The rate of fire is pretty bad. You're going to have to spam reloading. With I run vents and a rammer, and it's got me down to 8.3 seconds reload. So I'm not suggesting that you camp at the back, but if you play this using basic tank destroyer skills, camp bush, use binoculars that I have loaded, you can be an effective sniper as long as you have RNG on your side. And if you hit your target sniping, you can whittle Tier 1 tanks to half health or lower, and if you use high explosive and it penetrates, you can either one-shot Tier 1 tanks or bring them down to a sliver of health. So I can see the correlation between the Vickers Medium 1 and the Death Star. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple games here. Okay, so Mines is my favorite map. Everybody knows that. And I was fortunate enough to have my favorite sniping spot. So I'm not suggesting that everybody camps, especially on Mines. The hill is obviously the paradigm. But I'm in Tier 1, I have binoculars loaded, and I have high alpha. If I can put the dispersion to work, I might actually do well here. So as you can see, I went up onto the rock instead of camping the bush. This gives you an advantage of going a little higher over the berm on the hill. So when they crest it, you'll be able to get a shot in a little better than if you were camping the bush to the left or to the right of the rock mound. So what I'm waiting on is a fully aimed shot, trying to get it into the sides of these tanks coming. So I'm going to try to go after this guy, and I took a third of his health off, which is pretty considerable at Tier 1 in one shot. That's excellent alpha damage. No shot over there on the lighthouse. I got to worry about that. Go after the Panzer II, and I bounce. Even with the Pramo I had loaded. Switch back to normal. HE's not going to do good against these guys at Tier 2. No shot. I'm doing okay, trying not to move my tank, using the binoculars as spotting in case people get too close. I can get one right into the side of this guy. Even with bad dispersion, I tracked him. Not that that helps, given the location of everybody on my team, one going around the side, and everybody else camping at the back with me. I was hoping that my team would be able to do some more work as sniping in the fashion I'm doing, especially like the Death Star. It's team dependent, especially like the Grill 15, team dependent. But I can take another third off of this guy's health, and he got killed too. Very good. I saw a branch fall, so the Panzer II that's up there, the lighthouse, is still a problem. Not spotted yet. This is a great way, if you watch this, to understand sniping mechanics, bush mechanics, and when to get out of the way after you're spotted. I need to get down off of this, and luckily I bounced a shot. What I need to do now is let Camo reload. I was still spotted when I was trying to get off the hill, and I don't wait about 10 seconds to let Camo reset, and I paid for it. Luckily I got a kill out of it on that T2 medium. Trying to let Camo reset, trying to communicate with my team. I think I'm not spotted anymore. Panzer II, I could take him out in one shot. Good dispersion. I let it go. That's another tank down. So as you can see, at this tier, the alpha's high, but there's no armor to speak of on this tank, so I really need to kind of use the rest of the team as a meat shield. Let this guy, the Tetrarch, come around the corner. He doesn't see me, and I donked the shot. I don't think it was fully aimed because my turret was moving, and I'm paying for it. Okay, so Fort Despair, I'm platooned up with RJ-14. Thanks for helping me out with this video. Everybody knows on Fort Despair, especially at lower tiers, from the spawn, depending on which side you go, there's those bushes either up in front of you, depending on the south spawn, and to the left, or I'm sorry, to the front of you on the north spawn, and from where I'm going to the left on the south spawn. So remember, I have binoculars, and being team dependent and leeching off of their ability to spot, I'm going to go up here and do what everybody does at lower tiers, which I don't recommend unless you're a tank destroyer. Camp this bush. So I'm camping, I'm not spotted, I'm not fully aimed, and I donked that shot completely. You need to let it fully aim. Luckily I didn't get spotted. The cruisers have good view range, and if he had optics, he'd probably would have spotted me. I'm not spotted, let it aim, donked a shot again. I think that could have been fully aimed a little better, so this is a good example of you need to let the shots aim when you have high dispersion tanks. Luckily I took half of the wall tractor's health off, which was the point of this video, to show you that alpha at this tier is equivalent to the Death Star tier 10, proportionately, of course. I'm not spotted anymore, camo's reset, let the binoculars go in, my buddy next to me died. RJ-14's doing some excellent spotting for me, so half health off the T2 light, gone. RJ's getting hit bad from his flank there. Nobody went over there, but if I can let it aim fully, I can kill this lull tractor, which I do. I probably could have put HE into the back and not have spent the marginal amount of credits that it would have been for AP, but the high explosive tends not to bounce. Tends not to bounce, I should say. There's another kill. So, alpha's high, armor's none. Every time I take a hit, it does penetrate. What I need to do is completely relocate, and this is something, if you're newer to the game, taking shots like I am, you need to relocate. Look at that donked right into the wall. Right now, I'm done. There's no point in trying to relocate or anything. They know where I am. They know if I go one way or the other, they're going to surround me, and then I get taken out. So if you want a little highlight reel, here you go. This was another game where RJ-14 and I were platooned, just one after the other. What I forgot the name of the tank. The M2 medium, what it can do when RNG is in your favor. T7 combat car, I took double digits off of him, not too bad. And then this poor soul, 110 damage. This tank is effective, but very team dependent. I don't recommend you stick around with this tank too long. And sometimes folks, RNG isn't in your favor, matchmaking isn't in your favor, and your own ability to carry isn't in your favor. It's a tier 1 match, I'm sorry, a tier 2 match, and we're in the most paper-thin tanks imaginable in this match. RJ-14 and I are not going to be able to carry because we're 2 of 3 tanks going this way. and everybody else is going to the other side, and we end up getting swarmed. So sometimes you just can't help it. You get a loss. I do appreciate all the attention you guys give. I appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes. If you haven't already, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe. I'm looking forward to putting out a lot more content. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon link below and in the description above in the card. Any support is good support, and I appreciate what you do. And until next time, guys, I'll see you guys out there.